Ciao everybody, my name is Joey. I am doing my third project with the Ancient Egypt Sam's Bead Box from August 2025, and it's just going to be a really stunning necklace. My first two projects that I did when I unboxed, I just had to say that you can just use your basic jewelry skills and you're going to get really stunning jewelry from this box because, as you can see, it's amazing. So there it was, this beautiful little necklace bar in the box, and I've been playing for probably longer than I want to admit, actually, with different patterns and configurations. In the box there was also these connectors, and I absolutely love them. So I did this really simple little hand chain. I also did a really simple pair of earrings, which wasn't much work, but the brass in this box is just so stunning. And I put these on my interchangeable lever back ear wires, and I've designed another earring that I can also switch out onto those gold-filled interchangeable lever back earrings. This is just a linear drop, just using some of the elements that I've chosen for my necklace. And so this little necklace bar is really stunning. I'll pick it up and kind of show you. It has, I didn't count all of the holes, and you could use every single one to do drops. I'm not going to use every single one. I've kind of worked out some drops using these links that will be spaced out, evenly, starting with the very middle. So I've strung one of my links right on the very middle. And then I've made all simple loops here. I have one left to do. So I just used ball head pins, and I'm just going to bend that and put a simple loop here. And then I've also made some really tiny 3mm jump rings because I want to connect everything here with a jump ring so that it's very movable, like so that it jingles and so that it really moves. Instead of you can connect the simple loops right to each other if you want to, but I decided to do jump rings. So I just have these very simple drops. But like I said when I was unboxing, I say it again, when your beads look like this, every little thing you do is stunning, even the most simple design. Like I literally connected some chain with some of the same jump rings that I've made for this box, and that is that. So I slightly cut apart this graduated strand. Like I said, you could really just string this because it's stunning the way it's graduated and spaced with carnelian, but these smaller beads were on the ends of this strand. So I went ahead and rescued those because I decided in my necklace that I want to stick with gold and the cobalt blue, or the lapis blue. Well, this is cobalt, this is lapis, and the turquoise. So I've also pulled in this strand that I'm going to finish my length with, and I think I'm going to do it just like it's on here. I'm going to string the back part of my necklace turquoise, blue, gold, and then on this side turquoise, blue, gold, and that will leave me this center section here to kind of, whoops, I'm sorry guys, it'll leave me this center section here to separate these beads. So on each side of the necklace I'll string turquoise, blue, gold, and then I'll have that much left over. And I've just brought in a magnetic clasp that's antique brass, so it really matches everything really well. And I'm thinking, let me grab a piece of wire. I'm thinking that these little 4mm gold-plated Heishi discs might be a nice addition. And then in the box, we got these gorgeous seed beads in this bronze color, 11-0 Miyuki seed beads. And I really love those, but I have some 11-0 Tohos here that are a bit brighter because when I start stringing, I'm not really sure what I want to do. And so I've been playing with these too because I really want a pair of earrings out of these twisted diamonds. But I was toying with the idea of having one of them on either side of my necklace when it goes up into the stringing, but I just really want a pair of earrings. So I think what I've decided to do is to go ahead and cut this open and get these little beads, the little 3mm rustic gold beads off of the strand. I'll only need 2 of them, and then I will have these for earrings. I just love these. They're so cool. Look how they even fit together. These are so cool. I just love these beads. So I really, plus I only did one of the cobalt blue in my drop. So I think what I'm going to do is create a little component of some sort here. I don't know if I'm going to do this all strung. I haven't really decided yet. I want to build this first, but whoops. I have everything laid out, and when you drop something, it's a disaster. So I think what I want to do is create a little component like this for either side of my necklace bar. So maybe just a little thing like that that starts on this large loop and then leads up into my stringing. So like I said, I've been sitting here playing with these beads a lot longer than I would like to admit, but the possibilities in this box are just endless. There is so much to work with, and even with everything that's out here, my tray is still packed. Like, I loved these. I love these so much. This was one of my favorite beads in the box, this turquoise oval. The graduated strand is there. I didn't even get into these yet. So like I have bracelets coming. I have bracelets. Oh, these carnelian faceted beads. This box is really amazing. So as I said in my unboxing, I do have a discount code for Sam's Bead Box, and it's just something that I highly recommend. You guys know I review a lot of boxes every single month, and this one is just unparalleled. So I am going to be stringing also on my Softflex Butterscotch Imperial Topaz color wire. This it really does look like butterscotch, but this just matches this rustic gold, and it matches the brass really well. And so a lot of times with my Softflex wire, I just let it show like where I'm making my crimps. But since I have these gorgeous beads, I make my connection loops with beads. So when we get to that, you know, I'll figure that out. But I've made a start here. So as you see, every single one of my drops has a little ball head pin and a simple loop. And I started connecting on this middle hole with a jump ring. And I'm going to take another one of my little jump rings and connect my main focal drop with the large cobalt teardrop to that link. And then I'm going to work my way out, and I'll tell you what I worked out. But with all of these little connecting areas on this, again, the possibilities on connecting or creating a pattern is endless here. And I think that's what took me so long. It's so fun, and everything you do looks so good. So it becomes a little difficult to decide what to do. But I think what I'm going to do is skip 2 holes. I'm going to do one side, and then in fact, before I even start designing where to place them, I'm going to go ahead and connect my drops to my links all the way across here. So like this little link goes on the bottom of this drop goes on the bottom of this link. I said it backwards. So if you get everything connected, then it's fun to kind of move it around from hole to hole to come up with just the perfect pattern. But look at these little, I love these connectors. I love them so much. I have enjoyed my hand chain. I just made this 2 days ago, and I've put it on every single day. And as you can see, it's so dainty and so thin that you can layer your rings on top of it. You can also use the finger loop. The way that I make my hand chains, you can use the finger loop on your index finger, your ring finger. You can also wear it on your thumb and go that way, like however you want to decorate your hand. And then I do a little extender chain. And so there's one of my drops. So this is going to be a really beautifully coordinated set where everything is exotic. This necklace is going to be really exotic. I have a more linear, more simple pair of earrings, and then I have this really exotic pair. And so I'm just having an absolute blast with this box. Okay, Joey, stop talking and start connecting. I'm really excited about this. You know, if you love beads and you love making jewelry, this is like paradise. This is amazing. The theme, the colors, the quality, all of it. It's so great. And I don't know, like at the time of this filming, I don't know, I haven't checked to see if there are extra boxes of these available. A lot of times on Sam's Bead Shop website, you can buy past boxes, and I think sometimes they also put box extras on their website to buy some individual pieces, but I didn't check is my point. I didn't check, so I don't know if this box is still available, but definitely use my discount code, and I provide a link under this box, under this video in the box where it says more. Tap that, it'll open part of the box, then you have to tap more again to see all the information, but the links for past boxes are there, all the links are there. So if you really love this, you know, you can check and see if they have any or all of it. So I'm just going to keep connecting. I'm going to get all these connected, and then I'll show you my pattern. Okay, so what I've decided to do on mine is leave 3 empty spaces on the right of my focal. So 1, 2, 3, and go into the 4th space with my jump ring, and that's where my next drop will go. And I'll close that really well, and then it works out so that the next drop I only leave 2 empty spaces. And so I'll show you how it's going to hang. And the fun thing about doing this with really small jump rings, as I said, not only do you get like extra dangle and movement, but if you don't like the way something's hanging, it's really easy to make adjustments by just opening your jump ring and moving things. But I'm going to go for this. So I'm leaving 2 spaces and putting that jump ring in the 3rd space and adding my drop. Next drop, and my drops, I just alternated those column beads, those rectangular oblong beads, and my connectors. And then I'm going to leave 2 more spaces, 1, 2, and go in the 3rd one. Let me get another jump ring. So 1, 2, go in the 3rd one. And then the way it will work out is I'll leave the next 3 empty, and my last little drop will go in the hole. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So this is so cool. It's like Egyptian fringe. Is anybody like thinking Cleopatra? Because I am. Oh, wow. I love it. So my focal is done, and I'm ready to start stringing. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to make a wire component out of this and then connect to that, and that is what I think I'm going to do. Instead of doing a jump ring here, I think I'm going to make some wire components. So I'm using 20 gauge wire for all my components, like these drops here, and then I used ball head pins. Let me just grab a couple little pieces. So I think I'm gonna just grab my 2 1/4 millimeter 1-step looper and just put a simple loop here. You could wire wrap for a component and then attach it to here before you wrap the loop closed, but I'm just gonna do a simple loop, and it's just gonna be that stack that I worked out. I have these little Tibetan spacers from an assortment, and I've just pulled in a few of those. I just felt like I wanted to add a little bit of metal up into the body of the necklace. Beautiful little component for right there. And I'm going to do the same for this one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and connect these to my focal here, and I'm going to connect it so that my loop is to the back. So when I close this simple loop, the open close part of it is to the back of my piece. Then when I look at the front of my necklace, and it's work hardened, when I look at the front, it's seamless. You don't see any opening. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, we're ready to build the rest of the necklace, and I think that I'm going to go ahead and crimp right on to that simple loop. I've made sure that it's closed really well. So I have 2 lengths of that butterscotch 49 strand bead stringing wire here, and I did mine so my necklace is going to end up being about 22 inches in length, but you know, you could make this type of a necklace any length that you want, really. So I need to grab a couple of number 2 crimp tubes. I'm going to come to this side and put my crimp tube on. And so here's where I was saying, if you wanted to fill this up with seed beads, you could. We have these beautiful 11-0 Miyuki seed beads in the box, but my soft flex wire matches so very well in color that I think I'm just going to let it show. That I like it. It doesn't bother me, but you can do a wire guardian here. You can do a seed bead loop and then go back through your crimp tube. You can also do French wire, would be really pretty here. But when the color of your wire matches like that, you know, it's just, I don't feel the necessity to cover it up. That's one of the beautiful things about soft flex wire. So I'm going to use my magical crimping plier, and I'm going to come here and make sure that this crimp tube is right in the center of my single divot close. And then when you look at the crimp tube, it's a square with 4 pinched corners. And now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And before you close down in this direction, I just felt it go in the middle. If you are not squarely in the middle when you go in the opposite direction, you'll mangle your crimp tube. And you know, it'll be really hard to get it to look like a little bead. So this number 2 crimp tube really does look about the size of an 11-0 seed bead. It's really beautiful. Sometimes, even though it's a perfect little bead, sometimes I will go back and put a crimp cover over that just because this is so small. So I just wait to the end to decide, but that's how I'm looking. And now I can just start stringing the way that I was thinking to string. And I'm going to start with one of these. Let me see if my cut end of my wire will feed through this bead. It's rather small. Oh, look, it does go. That makes me so happy. I like it when I can hide my cut end. And I think I'm going to use these hematite Heishi disc spacers. They're not a super bright gold, but I'm thinking I might even add in the bright gold, which is why I got out these Tohos. So I'm just going to kind of work on this pattern. I'll work on this side and get it just right, and then I'll do that off camera, because you know, watching somebody put one bead at a time on bead string wire is like watching grass grow. And I am going to cut this strand here, the Czech glass strand, and do color blocks just the way it's done on here. I'm going to do a color block of turquoise, then blue, then gold, and space them out to, you know, fill up my length. So I'll just do that off camera, and I'll be back and show you what I come up with. Okay, all the design decisions for the stringing part have been made, and I'm duplicating what I did here on the other side. And you know, as always, when you start stringing, you make design decisions along the way. So I started with my component attached to that, and those hematite Heishi disc spacers, I stacked 3 of them in between. So I'm creating bead stations, and they're separated by those Heishi discs, and I continued that all the way up the pattern, and then I separated the full strand of the Czech glass faceted rounds and did color blocks of that, and in between each of the color blocks there is a Heishi disc spacer. And then I really didn't have the length that I wanted, and 11-0 seed beads, I did decide to pop the bright gold in between my faceted rounds, but 11-0 was just too small scale for what I have going on here. So I have this perma finished, it's called Golden Fleece, but it's a perma finished galvanized 8-0 seed bead, And I love that for beads that are going to go around my neck, because if I get, my skin gets moist, or I have, you know, any kind of perfume or any kind of sunscreen, that Perma Finish Galvanized keeps the finish, keeps the metallic. It doesn't rub off or fade off. And so it's a really good choice for finishing you know, the length of a necklace behind. So I did the exact same thing here as how we started here, with a magical crimping plier, made a loop, letting my soft flex wire be exposed, and made that little crimped magical bead. And I'm going to repeat the same exact thing on this side. So I started the same way, and I just separated the beads that I had, and I'm just going to copy, you know, just copy this side exactly. So it gets a turquoise, and then a Hishi disc, and then a lapis cylinder, and then another Hishi disc, and then a turquoise, and then that's where I started stacking my 3 Hishi discs. So that looks really good, because it looks like another cylindrical bead when you stack 3 of them together. And those of you that have known me for a little bit, you know that stacking discs is almost an addiction for me. Just, I don't know, it's so gratifying. I love stacking discs and rings, and there's something so beautiful about it, because look at what you get. It almost looks like a cylindrical bead when you stack them. So I'm loving my pattern, and I'm just going to copy for this side exactly what I did here. Cleaned up a little bit, and I am ready to crimp. So on this side, I just didn't want it to be rigid, so I just crimped in a coil, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Just kind of, I'm sorry you guys, I turned my fan on for a couple of minutes, because here in my area we're under a heat advisory again, and even in the air conditioning, I work next to a window, it just gets so hot. But I think I'll hear when I edit, but I think the microphone picks up that fan, and it's much louder than it is for me. So I'm just not going to crimp in a straight line. I'm just going to lay this, that side's done. So just going to lay this out here and put my crimp tube on, and it's the same thing that we did. It's really nice with 8/0 seed beads that this cut end can hide through a few. I'm just gonna get them down through there and match my loop to the other side and use my magical crimping plier. And then we'll make a fast pair of earrings, the linear drops that I designed. I think that's more my style, and I think I'm gonna wear those a lot more. But I love these chandeliers too, and I'm normally not big on chandeliers, but those are just so beautiful. They just really are. Okay, I just always do another double check for spacing before I crimp. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Just get this number 2 crimp tube squarely in the center, close down. I've got my little square, opposite direction, close down. Look at that. And I'm going to trim and put my magnetic clasp on. And this magnetic clasp is one of those super strong, and it has, it's easier to open it once it's attached, but it has the little grooves inside. So it's not just a magnet, but see that little divot and that little divot, it fits in there. So, and this is not that weighty, but this is a really good clasp for a very special necklace. And I'm going to use the same jump rings, the same size that I had made, for adding in all my drops to just connect my clasp. And the nice thing about a magnetic clasp is there's no right or left, so it doesn't matter which side you connect it to. Okay, this is so beautiful. This is not as long as I normally make my necklaces, but I really think it's gorgeous. I love the pattern. I love the color story here. I think it is very exotic. I mean, this could kind of be considered boho, but I guess this box just, you know, has us with Egyptian things on our mind, but I love it so much. Okay, fast pair of earrings. All I'm going to do is make another component with simple loops. It's the same that I did here, but I kind of turned it upside down. And I think that I was using my bail making plier to make these simple loops. I switch around from my bail pliers to my round nose pliers to my one-step loopers. But I'm just gonna like get my simple loop in there. And same thing as I did, I'm connecting my link so that the opening of my simple loop is to the back of my earring. And I like to just work hard in my loops a little bit, and then I'll feed my let's see, let me do it in the right direction. Yeah, I just reversed my pattern on the earrings to what I did on the necklace. And same thing, I'm just going to put a simple loop in here. Okay, and lastly, I just used one of those rustic gold drops on a tiny ball head pin and just made a simple loop in here as well. And on my earrings, I did not attach everything with the small jump rings the way that I did on the necklace, because I didn't want my earrings to get to being too long, and jump rings do add a little bit of length. So fast and so stunning. I love linear drops. This is my personal style, and this is something I'll wear a lot with denim, and even as we go into the next seasons, these colors are just absolutely perfect, and they just slide beautifully into my interchangeable lever back ear wires. These are gold filled, so I'm putting really high quality in my ears. But then if I make more earrings out of this box, which, as you know, I'm in love with these, I don't need an ear wire for every pair of earrings. So I think I really do want to make earrings. I would also really love to have one of those for a bracelet, a focal. So I need to see if Sam has more of those in the shop. But look how gorgeous these are. And I like to do a more simple pair of earrings when a necklace has a focal like this and is, you know, really this involved, so it doesn't look overdone when you get dressed. But I may wear these, like I may probably will wear these without the necklace. That's a little bit, that is really like a statement for me, and I'll wear that and nothing else. And you know, a bracelet, I had done this bracelet on a like girls weekend with parpuka beads, and it's quite a difficult pattern, but it matches this box so beautifully, the blues and golds in it. So I love it. I love the hand chain that I made. So I will put links in the description box to Sam's Bead Box. I do have a discount code, and for those of you that are like not great with technology, as I am not, if you tap more right under the video title, depending on your device, but you only see a little bit of my description box, you have to tap more another time to reveal all the information. And for newer people, that's where you will find the links to all the tools that you see me using. I have a section that I created called My Favorite Findings, because when I find something good, I tend to reorder it and use it over and over again. So anything that I have used that I know where I got it, I will link it for you guys there, and it, you know, it saves you time and helps you because you've already seen what the supplies look like and what they do in a design. So I spend quite a lot of time on my description boxes, but I thank you so much for watching. I do have bracelets to make because I have still so much left from this gorgeous box. It's just been one of my favorite boxes all year so far, honestly, from Sam or from anybody. It's just absolutely a stunning, stunning box. So I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.